Yes, thank you so much, Ted. On our DraftKings Tennis Channel desk, Steve Weissman, Martina Navratilova, and we've got the five-time Wimbledon champion, Novak Djokovic, with us into the round of 16 at Wimbledon. Great to see you, Novak. Obviously, you know what it takes to get to the peak at the championship match at a major and kind of pace yourself throughout the 2 weeks. So how would you characterize where you're at right now, 3 matches in?
Thank you for having me. Great to see Martina. Hi, Martina. I haven't seen you in a while. Wimbledon has always been a dream tournament for me. I always dreamt of winning Wimbledon when I was a kid. So there's always a special feeling coming into the grass court season, and leading up to Wimbledon. Probably the most special tournament for me, the most special environment, and the center court, where I was lucky to experience some epic matches throughout my career. Today I played on the court 1, which was different in terms of visual experience, and it took me some time to adjust to that. I had, as you can see right now, a couple of reactions that were they were quite dynamic and loud, but I just had to get something out of my chest, so to say. I felt a bit of a pressure and I was a bit nervous in some moments, and I didn't feel probably as best as I could possibly feel the way I felt in the first 2 rounds. But also credit to Dennis for playing quality tennis. He plays well on grass and on quick surfaces. He made me work today.
You've gone quite primal, especially in Roland Garros, but here as well. I always want to know what you're screaming, but just let's keep it on the tennis side. The bubble, how has it been different this year from your normal preparation because of all the restrictions that you have this year? Because for us, it looks the same with the crowd, pretty full crowds and everything, but your bubble per se, how does it work?
Yeah. Well, it's not ideal. I don't want to sound that I'm complaining too much about it, but obviously, look, it's at least it's same for everyone, but having a restricted movement to hotel room and tennis courts is not perfect. For professional athletes, you need, and for anybody really, you need freedom, you need space to move around, to have a little walk. Unfortunately, that is not possible here in Paris. During Roland Garros, we had an hour and a half possibility to walk around the park and then come back to the hotel. We don't have that here. Before the tournament started, it was actually nice because you could walk around the All England Lawn Tennis Club. So it was quite nice. Unfortunately, with the crowd, or fortunately to have the crowd, of course, but unfortunately we don't have a possibility to move around too much. But look, it is what it is. As I said, it is same kind of circumstances and conditions for everyone. So you try to make the most out of it.
As Billie Jean King says, champions adjust, right? You've done that really well. On that note, making history is not easy, and you are just about every match you play, you are closer to history and making it. You're at 19 for majors, 1 behind Roger and Rafa, and you could win the Grand Slam in a calendar year. You already have your Novak Slam. So how do you manage to shut all that out? Because when you get older, you know everything that can go wrong. How do you manage to shut it all out and stay in the moment?
When you're older, you know that there are things that could go wrong, but you also, I'd like to think a bit wiser and smarter in a way of understanding what your everyday life should look like, and what are the routines that you should stick to, and what are the priorities that you should focus your attention and energy towards too. So I feel that 5 years ago in 2016, when I experienced the first time the possibility of a calendar slam, when I won first 2 slams in a year, I came to Wimbledon, and I could not imagine that I would experience what I did. I felt a little bit demotivated, deflated. I don't know. It was just a unique experience for me at the time. Right now, knowing what I've been through 5 years ago, I'm a completely, obviously different person, player today, and as I said, like to think that I'm a bit wiser in understanding how to kind of switch off the distractions and not really spend irrationally energy on the things that are not important at the moment. So I keep things quite simple, you know, with my family, with my team, and try to be in a good vibe, in a good energy, and then, you know, focus on every next challenge that comes ahead.
You're certainly doing that well, using that experience to your advantage. I mean, world number one for the most weeks of all time. You said after the match, you talk about those dynamic reactions, that you had spent a lot of time in the mountains with wolves. Tell me more. What was that like?
Well, half of it is true. Half of it, I grew up on a mountain and spent a lot of time there because my mom and my dad, they had a restaurant business at this mountain from which we lived. Actually, I mean, that was our family business that brought food to our table. And so every time I had a school break from our capital city, Belgrade, where I was born and where we lived, we went to Kopaonik. It was a mountain where we spent really a lot of time. So, you know, I love nature. I love spending time in the mountains, in the hills, and in the woods. So I did come across a couple of wolves here and there, but you know, I feel like the reason why I said it on the court is because I do feel that determination and tenacity you know, wolves are also very instinctual. They rely heavily on instinct, right? So I see a lot of corresponding character traits, so to say, from my side with wolves. So I feel like wolves are in a way my natural spiritual guides, so to say, throughout my life since I was very young. You know, I always was, of course, afraid of wolves, but at the same time very attracted to them. So probably there's something out there that surfaces, I guess, on the court when I start screaming, and it's not ideal at times, you know. It's not the best behavior sometimes, but you know, you need to get it out there, and you know, it feels better when I put it out.
I love that, and I like the word you used to describe it: dynamic. That's what we're going to go with. Dynamic reactions to some certain points. Novak, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Always a pleasure, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Martina. Nice to see you.
All right.